Have you ever heard the name Rick Rescorla? Rick was in charge of security for Morgan Stanley, the single largest tenant of the World Trade Center in New York City. Beginning in the late 1980s, Rick assessed and warned of the vulnerability of the World Trade Center, including the possibility of planes being used to strike the buildings. Because of these risks, Rick did his best to prepare Morgan Stanley employees for an attack, even when they didn't love his methods. For nearly a decade, he required employees to conduct mandatory evacuation drills every 3 months. On the morning of September 11th, at 8:46 a.m., a plane struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center. An announcement was made over the PA for tenants in the South Tower to stay at their desks as the accident had only affected the North Tower. Rick, however, wasn't buying it. Prepared for this very moment, Rick got on his bullhorn and quickly evacuated employees from Morgan Stanley, just as they had done dozens of times in drills. They marched efficiently down the stairs to the sound of Rick singing and shouting encouragement from his bullhorn. At 9:03 a.m., a second plane struck the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Amazingly, by 9:59 a.m., when the South Tower collapsed, nearly all 2,700 of Rick's internal customers had made it out safely. Rick, who stayed behind to help others, unfortunately did not. In my last session, we talked about how anticipating our customers' needs can improve the speed and quality of our response, helping us achieve higher levels of responsive customer service. Today, I want to talk about a second method for improving responsiveness, and that is preparation. Once we have successfully anticipated what our customers need, preparation is vital to meeting those anticipated needs successfully. Let's start with an often overlooked but very basic method of preparation: delegation of authority. One of the easiest ways to improve the speed of response is knowing in advance who is authorized to speak to the customer, whether internal or external, and what they are authorized to say or do. Often, delays in response or even complete failures to respond are caused by confusion about who has the authority to respond to a customer's request. To combat confusion and improve response times, discuss in granular detail who is authorized to give updates and who is authorized to commit to process change. Don't wait until the request rolls in to decide. Okay, now let's shift gears a little. Pop quiz. I'm going to give you a definition, and you give me the word it defines. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Shout it out if you know it.
Insanity.
Insanity? Okay. I was going to say practice, but thanks for trying. Okay, that was a trick question. Think about it, though. Would anyone call Stephen Curry insane for standing at the free throw line for hours, literally doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? No, because he is one of the best free throw shooters in NBA history. Often we grow up with systems in place that encourage repetition as a tool for growth. Education, sports, music, each of these require years of regimented practice to master. But after we start our careers, boom, we are just expected to have arrived. Unless you are a doctor or lawyer who at least are honest enough to admit they practice law or medicine. But think about it. You don't practice being a line foreman. You sink or swim. You don't practice being an entrepreneur. You fail or succeed. So how do we set up systems where repetition is practice, not insanity? Where employees have the space to grow, learn, and where necessary, fail forward. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, but there are small changes we can make to allow for growth and mastery in our organization. One place to look is whether your team has a balance of entry-level, intermediate, and advanced positions. If your organization only has room for intermediate or advanced skill sets, you are throttling a key pipeline for raw talent. The brightest employees all have to start somewhere. You don't want that somewhere to always be somewhere other than your company. Second, ensure your company has a robust training and mentoring program. And don't just be consumers of training material, be practitioners of training exercises. Let your team stand at the free throw line and shoot with simulations, drills, hackathons, and other low stakes exercises. We don't think of it the way athletes think of practice, but often our professional skill sets can benefit from training and repetition. Take, for example, drills. Drills are effective and often utilized for practicing emergency response, but they are also effective, but less commonly used, for practicing customer service interactions. Let's take an example. Big Chair Furniture Company has a customer complaint line. They had an expert in de-escalation come in and do training for the call center employees, but they didn't just listen to a lecture. They partnered up in teams and took turns playing the part of an irate customer so they could put their newly learned skills into immediate practice. 2 weeks after the training, a belligerent caller phoned into the call center. Because of the simulated training exercise, the representative was better equipped and more confident putting the de-escalation tips into practice and was able to calm down the customer quickly and efficiently. Similar exercises could be run for a range of customer interactions, from internal to external. Finally, it is imperative that we connect our last discussion on anticipation with today's discussion on preparation. It is difficult to prepare for what you do not anticipate. Rick Rescorla implemented effective preparation tactics and saved thousands of lives, but he did so because he did his homework and was able to anticipate the unfathomable. In summary, anticipate, prepare, provide excellent, responsive customer service. Thank you.